Men want feminine and submissive women that smell good. At the end of the day, that's all we want. We want feminine and submissive women that smell good. What else do we need more than that, right? Really nothing. And even that, finding a woman who is feminine, submissive, and smells good is like finding a needle in a haystack these days, because most women are anything but that, right? Most women are just a little too masculine, a little too dominant, a little too overbearing, a little too loud, a little too arrogant, a little too self-centered, a little too narcissistic, a little too self-absorbed, and a little too disrespectful towards their men. This is why we don't stick around, ladies. This is why we're just out the door as soon as you start demonstrating those traits, you know? We might have sex with you, but we're not gonna stick around. Whereas I've seen women who aren't even that hot, right? Aren't even that hot, that are able to hang on to men that have more value than them, more sexual marketplace value. They're able to hang on to their men because they still have the ability to just stay feminine and not be so overbearing, right? And not be so dominant around him. She's just able to stay feminine and respect him, right? But obviously if you're hot, I mean, that's gonna hold a lot of water too. We're gonna stick around, right? But at the end of the day, so many women, I've been getting a lot of haters on my channel that are turned to not being haters, right? And have actually asked me for dating advice. And I'm like, I give it to them, right? I'm like, hey, you know, like, sorry, I hated on you, but you know, you sound like you know what you're talking about. What should I do in this situation? I've given a lot of women advice, right? I'm like, it's okay, I understand, right? You were offended by the topics, but this is what you want to do. And I tell them, at the end of the day, what do men care about? Because a lot of them are like, what do men want? What do you guys really, really want? And I tell them, honestly, ladies, all men care about is we just want a woman who is going to be feminine, submissive, and smell good. That's all we want. You know, unfortunately, a lot of women these days, I did a coaching video on this previously, are complete slobs. Not all, okay? I don't want to say all. I'm just saying a whole lot of them. I'm not even saying most. I'm just going to say a whole lot of them, okay? A whole lot of women out there are complete slobs. I remember a time when women would like get dressed up to even just go to the mall, right? Just go to the mall. The girl would like wear a nice blouse. If she wanted to be casual, she'd throw on her jeans, right? And then she would wear like nice little boots or nice shoes. She would do her hair a little bit, makeup. She didn't have to get all gussied up, but she would, you know, make herself presentable just to go to the mall, just to go shopping. Like, who are you gonna see when you go to the girly stores? Nobody, but you made sure you look nice before you stepped out, right? You had probably good parenting, good mother. It was like, don't go out looking unkept, young lady. A lot of these girls these days don't even bother to do that. I see girls walking around in like dude shorts, like they have like the dude basketball shorts. They're walking around in like, they're not even flip-flops. They're like dude sandals, like the kind of sandals like dudes wear in the locker room. It's insane. They're wearing like these loose-fitting basketball t-shirts. I mean, these are women, right? These are women who are dressing like dudes. And then you're like baffled when you can't get a guy attracted to you. It's like, guys don't want to date another guy, right? We want to date a chick. If you want to be looked at as dating material, you have to look like a girl. And not even just look like a girl, but act like one, right? You have to act like one, because a lot of these chicks these days, thanks to feminism, they can look like women, right? They can look like women, but they certainly don't act like them. They act like dudes, right? They act like men. And not only like just normal men, but like asshole men. They like dick men, right? Like amog type men. Like they're constantly like really disrespectful towards you and just really not pleasant and not nice to be around and lacking any type of femininity whatsoever. Some of these girls too, just some of them I feel like just need to get like, I don't know, man, like get in a girl fight or something, because they've never had their ass kicked. You could always tell like somebody who's never gotten their ass kicked, they have like a huge sense of entitlement. And it's really not until you get your ass kicked that you get humbled. So a lot of these girls almost like feel like they need to get their asses kicked, you know, obviously by another woman or something like that, right? By a more masculine woman than they are. But a lot of these chicks these days, they can look the part, right? They could do their hair, their makeup, and they could be out at the venues. But once you start talking to them, they talk no different than dudes. They're talking about their sexual history like they're dudes, right? Like, yeah, I banged this guy, I banged that guy, I got his ass. It's like, girl, what are you talking about, man? That shit's a turnoff. Don't talk like that. You know, and they think that that's attractive to men, and it's not, man. That shit turns us off. Guys don't like hearing that kind of talk, because at the end of the day, what do we want, fellas? We want a girl who's feminine, submissive, and smells good, okay? The smelling good part is probably the easiest. I have not come across too many girls that have smelled bad, okay? I really haven't, unless it's just they're going through that time of the month and it's kind of like a girl odor type thing. Understandable. I never hold that against them, you know, if that's the case. I mean, some girls smell worse than others. Some girls, like, literally, like, during that time of month, they don't smell like anything. I've dated a few girls like that is, I'm almost like kind of mystified, like, wow, you have like zero odor down there at all. That's amazing, right? Where I've dated other girls that do, right? And that are still like really hot, and it's like, you know, it's just part of their body scent, or I don't know if it has so much to do with their hygiene. I don't know. If you're a lady, explain that below, right? Why some girls smell more than others down there. Explain that. But I don't hold that against them. I'm not talking about, like, you know, smelling good that way. I'm talking about smelling good, like, choose a good perfume, right? Choose a good perfume that, I can't even describe it. That smells like candy almost, right? Just like a sweet smelling perfume. Choose that for yourself. Don't choose these like aggressive like perfumes that almost smell like cologne or Axe body spray. You know, again, it's like, you guys, ladies, just you have to stop crossing that line over into masculinity. We don't want you masculine. We want you feminine, right? And this is why guys hate it when you talk back, right? Like, I can't stand that when like a girl like is constantly talking back, right? I don't mind during the initial approach, because I understand it's part of the mating dance. It's part of shit testing. And you guys who have been doing pickup long enough, you know that, right? It's like, if the girl like wants to throw an insult out, she wants to shit test, you know what it is, right? It doesn't mean she's gonna continue this. It just means that she's giving you an initial test to see if you're worthy of being looked at as a sexual dating partner in her life. Because if you can't pass the shit test, then obviously get out of here. You're gonna be friend zoned, or just, you know, she's just not gonna want anything to do with you. So the initial shit test, I'm okay with that, right? A lot of incels and guys like that, like, oh, I hate women. They always try to like put me down. It's like, dude, jackass, it's part of the shit test. It's actually bad if the girl doesn't shit test you, because she's saying, I don't even need to test you because I know you're beta. You're not even worth testing. She's just like, just get in the friend zone. Just get in there. I don't even want to have to hurt you, right? She's basically saying she doesn't feel like you're man enough to be tested. So when a girl shit tests you, it's actually a good thing. So a girl shit testing, I don't mind that, right? I welcome it. I enjoy it, because I need the shit test, right? And you do. You need that. You need the shit test to overcome and create, like, at least create initial attraction with her. Because without a shit test, you really can't do that. So I don't mind the initial shit test. What I do mind is, like, now we're dating. Okay, shit test time is over. We're dating. We've already had sex. We're hanging out now. We're trying to make this work, right? I want to spend time with you. And I know you want to spend time with me. But you're ruining it. Why? Because you can't shut up. You can't stop poison dripping me. You can't stop shit testing me. Leave me alone, right? It's like, I just want to enjoy this weekend and I want to enjoy your company, right? Shut up. Be a woman. Support me. Just stop being so disrespectful. Right? And this is why a lot of guys, they end up turning elsewhere. Guys are just like women that way in many ways. It's like, if you can't deliver the goods, if you're going to be like shit testing all the time and you're going to be unpleasant to be around, we're just going to look elsewhere. Just like if you're with a guy who's a little bitch that you know you could just walk all over, you're going to be looking out there for a more masculine, more dominant man who will put you in your place, right? We're the same way. If we can't get that femininity out of you, and you have like a propensity to constantly be masculine and dominating and constantly trying to be the dude in the relationship, we're just going to look elsewhere, right? We're just going to look elsewhere. And I can't stand that when a girl's like constantly trying to be the guy in the relationship, you know. And I can understand if you're You know, I don't want to put all the blame on women, because if you're in that relationship and you are acting like a little girl and you're not making any decisions and you're letting her run the show and you're letting her lead and take control all the time and you're constantly indecisive, then yeah, she's going to treat you like that, because if you don't take the lead, she is going to take it from you. And there is nothing women hate more than needing to take on the responsibilities of the man in that relationship. Women hate that, right? And she will hate you for it too. Even if she stays with you, she will secretly hate you for it. She'll despise you for it. She'll sabotage you at times when you don't even see it, just to get back at you, right? So you have to, you have to be a man in the relationship, okay? I don't want to put it all on women. If you're a guy and you're in a relationship with a girl, you've got to lead that relationship and you have to be the dominant one. Stop depending on her to do everything for you. Okay, so if you want her to be feminine and submissive, you need to be masculine and dominant, right? You need to be masculine and dominant. But even doing that, sometimes that's not even enough, right? And the girl will still continue to try to shit test you. And that's when I'm like, you know what? I can't put any more energy or effort into this. You're just being way too alpha for some reason. I have other options. That's what I would tell a girl. Maybe 20 years ago, I tried to work it out with her, and I did. I had girlfriends that were like that. And I sat there and I diverted a lot of my time and energy away from my own goals to make the relationship work, right? And kind of overpower her dominance. And a lot of times I was able to do it, but shit, it was a lot of work. And now that I'm older, I'm like, I don't want to have to divert that much energy into like keeping her feminine, because there are women that I date that are just feminine. They don't do that, right? They're just feminine. They're just that way. They know how to be women. And I could think of, like, right off the top of my head, I could think of a handful of them that were just like that. Like one girl I dated, normally I don't like to mention names on my channel, but one girl I dated that was just like that. Her name was Arlene. I love Arlene, and Arlene's like married now, and I had my shot too. I could have married Arlene. And I didn't, right? I didn't do it just because I was like in the middle of my peak years, like gaming and stuff. And that was the last thing I want to do. And I actually broke it off with her, right? And to this day, she remembers that. I mean, we're still friends, but she remembers like, oh, I couldn't believe you broke it off with me. Wow, what did I do to you? And I'm like, I'm sorry, my head was in the wrong place. But Arlene was very, very feminine, right? And she was good. She like gave me neck massages. I remember this was back in my playing days when I played football. I came from a practice one night. It was super cold that night. I had my helmet on the whole time and my head turned into like a human ice cube. I almost went to the hospital because it was like cold and I couldn't get the temperature down. And I remember I pulled my helmet off. My helmet had ice on it, like just from the cold. My helmet was almost frozen. And I was able to make it my girlfriend's place, Arlene, right? She was my girlfriend at the time. So I made it to Arlene's place. And I remember I came in and she was like, oh my God, sit down, Matt, sit down. And she runs to the bathroom, gets this hot towel, puts my head down, wraps this like hot towel around my head. She wraps a hot towel around my head, takes her own shirt off and holds her body against mine to try to bring down my temperature. And she's like, if this doesn't go down in the next hour, we need to go to the hospital. I need to take you. And she just like cared for me. And it was crazy. It's like, yeah, she cared for me. And I just remember her like running back and forth to the bathroom, heating up the towels. And I remember like how genuine it was and how much she like genuinely cared about me and how just caring and nurturing and feminine she was. And that was a situation where I've had girlfriends both before and after her that were not like that, that like would have just left me there on the couch and be like, well, do you want hot coffee or something? Do you want a hot cocoa? They would just let me sit there and suffer. They wouldn't have offered anything like, oh, maybe we should go to the hospital. No, they would have just let me sit there. And that was just one situation I could remember off the top of my head. But we would go to dinners and stuff like that. She would like offer to cut my meat. And I was like, no, babe, it's okay, babe. I'll do it, right? But she was like, okay. And then she would make sure I'd have my like ketchup and my condiments in front of my plate. I'm like, babe, it's okay. Her mom was like that, so she became like that. And now she's been married to the same guy ever since we broke up. She met that guy after we broke up in like, I want to say the late 90s. They've been married since, and I'm not surprised. I'm like, I am not surprised. This guy is not going nowhere, right? He's not going to leave you. He's not going to cheat because you're that type of woman. When you act like that type of woman, where you're feminine, you're submissive, doesn't mean you're, you know, just because you're submissive, ladies, that you're a little bitch. You know, you're a bitch now. No, it doesn't mean that. It just means you know how to act like a lady, okay? You're feminine, you're submissive, you smell good, right? That guy's not going to go anywhere. And I'm just using my ex-girlfriend, Arlene, as a prime example. She's still married to the same guy, right? This chick did not mouth off. I don't remember her ever disrespecting me. She was always supportive. You know, she was always supportive of like my football career at the time, my playing days. And, you know, she would never once was like, oh, what are you going to do when it's all over? She's like, so long as you're playing football, you know, she's like, I support you. You know, we can make this work. She was I think she was already a nurse at the time, but she was like, you know, I can take care of you in the meantime while you get your football career off the ground. And, you know, and then in the future, if your football career overtakes mine, then you could take care of me. You know, she was just like, very cool like that. And to the point where she's like one of the girls that is still in my life to this very day. She's still somebody that I value in my life. She's a good friend of mine, right? Do I regret letting her go? Yeah, some part of me. Of course. She's a great girl. But I'm happy for her. I'm happy that she's still married, and I'm happy that she's with this guy for as long as she's been with him. Obviously, I took a different route. I don't regret it because I'm helping just tens of thousands of men all around the world, and she knows that. She's like, wow, what a different, you know, career path you've taken. But she's like, as long as you're happy, I'm happy for you. And I'm like, yep, you know, ditto. But yeah, at the end of the day, that's what guys want. We just want a woman who is feminine, submissive, and smells good, right? What more do we need? If you've got a great career too, bonus, okay? That's generally the bonus, but it's really not something that we place a huge priority on, okay? We don't really care about that so much unless you're already like getting to the point where you're getting married and finances are going to be obviously more of a priority because now you got to move out of, you know, maybe your parents' house or an apartment. You got to get a place together. You might be looking to buy a house. So now obviously, you know, you're going to need better jobs for that. So her job might be more of a priority down that line when you go deeper into your relationship. But during the initial approach and during the initial dating stage, even the dating relationship itself, it's not a huge priority to you, right? Until you go further and deeper in that relationship where now you're talking kids, now you're talking a mortgage. Obviously, now your careers are gonna come into play, right? It's gonna be like, okay, we need to get better jobs. Big deal. But you are definitely not going to leave that chick just because she doesn't have a good job, right? You're gonna work with her. You're gonna try to fix anything you can, as long as she is feminine, submissive, and she smells good, right? That's all you're gonna care about. Until next time, this is M. Don't forget to smash that like button below. Also, hit that notification bell right next to it so that you are notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on YouTube. More importantly, guys, make sure you subscribe to my channel, okay? So many of you guys are watching my coaching videos right now. You are still not subscribed to my channel, which means anytime I upload a brand new video to YouTube, you are not getting it. Why? Because you're not subscribed to the channel. Okay, so make sure that you subscribe to my channel. That way, whenever I upload a brand new coaching video to YouTube, you will be the first to get it. Okay, you won't have to wait weeks and weeks or search through YouTube to find it. You will be the first to be notified as soon as I upload it to YouTube. So please make sure you subscribe to my channel as well. And for you guys who want to support my work and all this red pill content I'm teaching guys here even further, the best way to do that is by jumping into my monthly online coaching program, 7 Months of Mastery, by becoming a member of 7 Months of Mastery, okay? And the first month is only $1. It's only $1 for the entire first month of coaching lessons, where I'm gonna teach you how to go out there and approach and close the youngest, most beautiful women in the world into your life. I'm talking 8s, 9s, and 10s. I'm not talking about ball-busting career women over 30, past their prime, that are going to be shouting you down like a little boy, getting these relationships with you, and then poison dripping you. No, I'm talking about young, beautiful women, women who have not yet been indoctrinated by the feminist machine, women who still know how to be feminine. I teach you where to find these women, first of all, right? I teach you a lot of my top places that I personally go to. to find these type of women, right? And you're not gonna find them in the bars and clubs, guys. You're not gonna find them there, but I teach you where to go to find these types of women who are still feminine, young, beautiful, hot. And I teach you the easiest places to go to approach these women. And again, I'm not talking about bars and clubs. I'm talking about places outside of bars and clubs. Okay, and I teach you all of this in 7 months to mastery. And the lessons you're gonna learn in that very first month alone of 7 months to mastery are going to be priceless. Okay, you're gonna be able to use this stuff for the rest of your life. So say you don't continue with the program, right? You're gonna be able to take the lessons you learned in that very first month alone and use them for the remainder of your life. Not only that, you'll be able to pass them down to your sons and teach them to your sons, as well as any men in your family, any of close male friends that you have. You'll be able to teach this stuff to as well, okay? And you get all this in the very first month of 7 months mastery alone. And not only that, just take it a step further, I've also recently included a free cheat sheet as part of 7 months mastery, where I give you my top 5 openers, both direct and indirect, so you will know exactly what to say to the girl anytime you see an attractive girl out there that you want to approach. Instead of like before where you didn't know what to say, so you never approach a girl, then you would go home kicking yourself wondering what would happen. You don't have to worry about that anymore. Now you can go approach that girl, because now you have my top 5 openers. Whether you want to approach that girl direct or indirect, it's up to you, right? But I give you my top 5 openers, I give you my top 5 negs, my top 5 objections, right? If the girl gives you an objection, like, hey, I have a boyfriend, I'm not interested, which over half the time is a complete lie. She's shit testing you. Or she tells you, hey, you're not really my type, sorry, I'm not interested, right? I tell you how to overcome that objection. And really, all that objection is, again, is a shit test. And once you can overcome that objection, it will almost by default just spin itself into attraction. When you show the girl that you're not willing to back down so easily, and you have a response for her objection, she will oftentimes get impressed, because most guys will quit at the very first sign of rejection. Right when she says, oh, I have a boyfriend, most guys are like, oh, okay, thank you. And then they'll walk away, right? Like a chump, like a chump. The top 5 hottest girlfriends that I've ever dated in my life, when I initially approached them, they all said that they had a boyfriend, okay? Half of them were lying. Half of them, they just told me that because they're trying to get rid of me. Because they said for them, like telling a guy that that you have a boyfriend is a time management tool, right? It stops a lot of guys in their tracks. And really, it filters a lot of guys, because a lot of guys who just stop in their tracks, once the girl says, I have a boyfriend, those guys are generally beta anyway, right? They don't have the courage and the confidence in themselves and the self-belief in themselves to push forward. Therefore, the girl is not interested in him as a sexual dating partner. Whereas, like I was mentioning, the top 5 hottest girls that I've ever dated all said that they had boyfriends, and I pushed anyway. I said, oh, that's awesome. How long have you guys been together, right? That's a common response I give you guys in 7 months of mastery. How long have you guys been together? And then you watch her eyes to see if she lies, right? You look for that flinching. And then a lot of times the girl will be like, oh, like 6, 7 months, right? You can tell she's full of shit. You know she's lying. Then you could plow forward, right? Like I said, over half the time the girl's lying. It's a shit test. She wants to see if she could stop you in her tracks, stop you in your tracks, right? But once you show her that, you know what? You don't back down so easily, you're not so much of a pussy, that's when she feels sexual attraction for you. Like, wait, this guy, he's pretty bold. I like that. He's pretty bold. He could stand his ground. He's not a little bitch who's just gonna walk away. Okay, good luck, you and your boyfriend. No. But in 7 months of mastery, as part of my free cheat sheet, I give you my top 5 responses to those most common top 5 objections that the girl is going to give you in field. Whether she tells you she has a boyfriend, tells you that you're not her type, or whatever else, okay? And it's very, very crucial that you know how to respond when a girl gives you any of these top 5 objections to why she's not gonna give you her phone number or why she's not interested, okay? And like I said, the top 5 hottest girls that I've ever dated in my life all had boyfriends. I overcame their initial objection by going, well, really? How long have you been together? Or, that's great. Does they let you have guy friends just to get in the girl's life? And then once I did, sure enough, turned out there was no boyfriend. Or turned out that the guy was just like a casual friend that she went on one date with, that she just uses as an excuse to tell guys as a time management tool to keep all the chumps from trying to get in her pants, right? But once I was able to surpass that initial objection, the girl was like, wow, this guy's boss, this guy's cool, right? And a lot of you guys ask me too, like, what about text game? What about text game? I tell you guys, it all starts with your approach. It all starts in the initial approach. The better your approach goes, the less text game you have to work. Really, my text game, all it consists of is me, after I approach a girl, texting her being like, hey, what are you doing later? Hey, do you want to go grab drinks later? Hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Let's hang out, right? Because my approach already went so well, to the point where many times I've already gotten the girl out on what we call an insta date, where after the approach, instead of just getting her number, I took her on an actual date. Like we went to a Starbucks or a cafe, or we walked around the mall. We got to know each other better. To the point where now it's like, now that I have her number, texting her is easy. All I have to do is text her like, hey, what's up? What are you doing tonight? Let's go hang out. Come over. Let's Netflix and chill. Let's do that. You know, and the girl many times like, oh yeah, you know, we hung out today. He's cool. I trust him. Yeah, let's go. Let's do this. You know, where for most of you guys, you do a piss poor approach, you do a shitty approach to the point where you get a shitty number, right? The girl gives you her number, but you did such a shitty approach that now you're in damage control. And now you're trying to fix it over text, right? You're trying to fix it and then you hit me up like, hey, I'm not in the program, but what should I say to this girl? I approached her and stuff and it didn't go so well, but she gave me her number. It's like, what do you want me to tell you? You want me to work a miracle on you because you didn't do a proper approach. Right? It all starts with the approach, guys. This is why you got to jump into 7 months of mastery, you know? Because as long as you're going out there and trying to approach girls with that bullshit that you learned from the TV and Hollywood movies and Disney, the Disney Channel, try going out there and picking girls up with that shit that you learned and see how fast your ass gets chewed up and spat out. See how far that shit gets you. Rather than professional training from a real life active pickup artist, a guy who's been in field over 2.5 decades now. I know, I said it a million times, over 2.5 decades. How many women I've dated, guys? Over 350 young, beautiful women, okay? I'm starting to slow that number down just because I'm getting super picky at this point. I've accomplished what I wanted to accomplish in game, right? I'm still out there, but I'm slowing that number down just because I'm getting super, super picky with the type of girls I date these days, which is a gift, okay? Because a lot of guys aren't in that position. A lot of guys are forced to choose that one, you know, that one semi-cute, semi-chunky girl in there that they meet through their social circle, and then they end up marrying that girl. And then that girl becomes a 5'2", 200-pound tyrant, the overbearing career woman who poison drips him in his entire life and makes his life miserable. When you could have just jumped into mastery and learned this shit and got out there and got yourself a better woman, a better looking woman, a younger woman, a hotter woman, a cooler woman, right? A cooler woman. I get accused a lot like, oh, you're just teasing these guys to have sex with women. No, I'm not. I'm teaching you guys to get out there and get the highest value, hottest, coolest woman you can into your life, to bring many of those type of women into your life so you have a pool of dating options you could choose from. And you know, you're not living in such scarcity, right? Instead, you're living in abundance, right? So you're gonna get all of these lessons and more in the very first month of 7 months of mastery. And like I said, the first month is only $1, okay? It's only $1 right now. We're gonna be raising the price pretty soon. Right, so take advantage of it while you still can, while I've still got the free cheat sheet in there, which is very vital. You need that, guys. You need the free cheat sheet, so take advantage of that. Like I said, it's only $1 for the entire first month. And all you need to do is click that link below in my description box. It will take you over to my website where you can get signed up right now. It just takes 2 seconds, so do that now, and I will see you in my next coaching video. All right, here's the shirt, fellas. You guys are like, what shirt are you wearing? I'm wearing my Trans Am shirt today, my TA shirt. It's from a 77 Firebird. You guys remember the movie Smokey and the Bandit, 1977, Burt Reynolds, classic, great shirt, and until next time. So a great nag to do, if you see a target that you really like, okay, so we're right at Avenue right now, me and my wing. and you want to stand next to the girl you want to approach, right? It's probably going to be hot. As you're standing next to her, make sure she can hear you. You look at some other girl and you talk to your wing and go, hey, that girl is the hottest girl here, hands down. I think it worked. She turned around.
Really? It's so weird.
It totally worked.
Trying to talk to girls and shit.
Hands down, that chick over there is the hottest girl here.
Classic.
Whether she exists or not, right? But there is actually a hot girl over there wearing purple. Kind of make them compete, because girls are naturally competitive.
That was the hottest girl ever.
Yeah, that was definitely. Oh, that's one for sure. This girl right here is definitely the hottest. She is super hot. Here he goes. Mark Wahlberg's long-lost cousin doing his approach.